Hi, I'm Nikhil of Shantanu Nikhil, and I am an artisan. Teachers would be like, "तुम क्या करना चाहते हो? तुम्हारा कुछ हो नहीं सकता. तुम तो मतलब loser हो." I said, "But मैं fashion designer बनना चाहता हूँ." तो tailor बन जाओ. I said, "हाँ, मैं tailor बन जाऊँगा."
Welcome to No Pressure, the podcast where creatives tackle the tough questions about the business, honestly and without the stress. Kicking things off, we have Nikhil Mehra, the co-founder and creative force behind Shantanu and Nikhil, a brand that has redefined contemporary Indian fashion with its unique fusion of heritage, structure, and modern design. One of the biggest conversations across the arts, how the education translates.
Like, you don't have to do a 4-year course to be a designer.
Okay, let's say someone is starting a brand today. How do you actually go about trying to understand?
Ooh,
Right.
house codes. Okay, this information could be a game changer for a lot of young entrepreneurs because they may feel like I'll make something for 15, I'll sell it for 100. 50 taka to mere ko mila hai. 100 taka I doubled my money.
Yeah.
That's bad business.
So you don't have creative blocks?
I don't know if I could be going through. I struggle emotionally, if that's what your question is, where I would call up my best friend and say, I'm feeling like today. Or I'll go through a relationship which is like heartbreaking. For me, those are blocks. And they don't allow me to create.
It's interesting that you're talking about the societal and personal influences.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that has shaped what SNN or Shantanu Nikhil does today?
We built Shantanu and have been really focused on what does SNN stand for. It's celebration wear. And who are we catering to? What are the color codes that will consistently be around and what are the variable codes that will come through? We don't lose sight of that. It's a scientific business.
What do you think it takes to be able to create a brand?
Those days are gone. I feel that you get lucky. You could be famous like tomorrow, but people will forget. Well, what they're really trying to say is that they don't want to forget you. They just want you to be consistent.
Hi, Nikhil. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously, there's a lot out there in the public domain already about your journey, but do you mind taking us back a few steps and talking to us a little bit about how you decided to pursue fashion?
A few steps is like a 4-episode podcast. I don't know if you want me
We're
to go.
ready. Cameras are rolling.
Few steps. Wow. You want to go decade-wise?
Let's start at the very beginning.
Oh no. Oh my Lord. Okay. So, this is when, I think it was 89. I had this weird situation at home with my brother, Shantanu. He used to always park his uniform right next to his bedside at night. And he'd always be like 10 minutes earlier, ready 10 minutes before I would even wake up. It would turn out that he would take the cleaner stuff, because we had a white uniform, he'd take the cleaner stuff and put it next to his bedside in the middle of the night when I've gone off to sleep. And then I had to dabble with like shit stuff, like dirty white pants with a torn white shirt. And so I had to make things up to, kind of make my uniform work for me. So I'd fold my, my bottoms or like the cuff of the trouser or the shirt. I'd have to do something interesting to make it wearable in a sense. And I'd go to school and then people would love it. It's like, wow, you wore white jeans, which looks like a pair of trousers, but it's not really because it doesn't have a crease. The only difference is that, and it's slightly heavier. And so I realized that this is actually working in my favor, And Shantanu had no idea. So he's still at night stealing my stuff and putting next to his and then wearing it. I let him play with it. I went along with it. And before I knew it, I started adding more things to this look. Like the hair would change, and I had very long hair. And at the back, like if you lift the back of my hair, I had a peace sign created. So I'd wear a ponytail and go to school. And then when my teachers would see it, I'd pull my hair down and then one teacher would, that was Mr. Rawat, he would always come and say, what is happening with your hair? So I'm like, there's a death in the family. So I'm very sorry. Then a week later, what is happening with your, I said, this one died. It's like, bro, what's going on, man?
How many relatives have you killed?
How big is your family? Someone's popping in every day. Anyways, that lasted for like a couple of months. And then I realized that Shantanu is a studious guy and I am completely opposite. I can't see stuff on the blackboard while teachers are teaching, and I had like huge attention issues, and actually, to be honest with you, I was never really inspired in school. And this is DPS Mathura Road.
No hate for everyone who's studying.
No, I hate school anyways. So whether it's DPS, modern, whatever, doesn't matter. So school was hard, but then it also became very easy for me to realize that this is not my scene. I'm better off in the creative visual space. So I took painting as my subject, and physical education, painting, economics, English, history, which I sucked at. I had two non-academic subjects, so my teachers would be like, "तुम क्या करना चाहते हो? तुम्हारा तो कुछ हो नहीं सकता. तुम तो मतलब loser हो." रोज सुनते थे हम, right?
Yeah.
So I said, "But मैं fashion designer बनना चाहता हूँ."
Yeah.
So tailor बन जाओ. I said, हाँ मैं tailor बन जाऊँगा. So I became a rebel in school.
Yeah.
And then I had my own community of people like-minded who wanted to do different things. Like one of my friends, Scaly, is a graphic designer. He's brilliant. So like that, we all sort of a community of 5 guys who turned gangster in school because we were not accepted. We would beat people up because we were not happy inside. And then we all went to the creative fields. That's when my journey started as wanting to be a designer. Then I went to Pearl Academy, which was a great learning for the more sort of, how do you say, technical stuff in design, but not creative enough.
Before we delve into that a little bit,
Yeah.
was that an easy decision to make back then? I mean, for you, that's one thing.
What?
Going to
Pearl?
Pearl. Because we're not talking now.
I
we're
couldn't get
talking
into
back-
NIFT. I failed that exam. So it was a very easy decision to
But
go
your
to Pearl.
parents were supportive of it.
My parents were insane. My dad always laughed at me. And he said, enjoy life. My mom, of course, was very, very strict. So she made sure that Shantanu did well. One of us did well. And my parents this guy is a creative guy. He'll do his own thing. He doesn't really need anyone. So I just went with the flow.
So you got to Pearl, and then
Very soon at Pearl, I realized that this is not going to work out for me beyond my technical skills, because design is about breaking barriers. It is about breaking the rules. And there were too many rules. Somehow in Indian education, there was just too many rules. And so I said, okay, let me apply and head out abroad. Parents didn't have the money, but I was in Dululu land, is what you call it, right, nowadays?
the Gen Z.
The Gen Z. But this emotion's been around for centuries. People have been crazy like me.
We just found new words.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I found the American Embassy, and there was a library that I went to, and I picked up a bunch of colleges that I applied to. I didn't know that information technology was not it was technology. I thought it was fashion, because they somehow had a little.
Sorry, 1 second. You thought information technology.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
fashion technology. Like, I thought that was a major in information.
Interesting,
So
okay.
I applied to 80 colleges, right?
Yeah.
And they all sent me a smiley saying not accepted. But then I got accepted at FIT.
Yeah.
And because I also did apply there, I got accepted. I did my interview. Everything went well. But they didn't have housing available.
Okay.
So New York just couldn't happen. So I went to LA, to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, where I did get accepted and I did get housing.
What do you know?
Wow, things worked out. And then my parents sold a plot to send me. So everything worked out really well. Shantanu at that point had already he was in Ohio studying his MBA. And I remember my parents really struggled hard. Like, they really, really struggled. Whatever they had, they sold. because they realized that Nikhil wants to study fashion. Like, this kid never wanted to study anything, right?
Yeah.
And he got accepted in one of the best colleges. So we've got to make that happen for him, which I'm so proud, and so a lot of gratitude for that. So then I went to LA, and my whole life changed, because back in India, I was like a cannonball. I was just flying off, doing whatever I wanted to do. Had no respect for the hard work that my parents were putting in for me. But when I got there, I realized my whole life became like this one big expedition that I created for myself. And I said that I am going to work so fucking hard, and I am going to beat everyone in this game, because every night I would, firstly, you have to do everything on your own, which is the anomaly for Indians. And this is back in 94. I had never been to a bank. I'd never done my groceries. Who does that, man? Like in 94, everything is sorted, right? So when I went there, and then we had no internet. So basically the communication was on a call, and each call is like $2 a minute. So, and you don't have $2. So you have to struggle. You have to figure it out on your own. First 6 months, I was just beginning to understand how before you become someone, you have to become full in yourself, which is a bloody journey, because that is about travesty, going through experiences, people treating you ill because you didn't get it. Incidentally, I flew in, and I went to the wrong address in Los Angeles, and it was a studio like this.
Really?
Yeah. Can you imagine? Like, I just landed up in a studio, and there are musicians rapping, and I'm with like two massive suitcases and a suit.
Yeah.
Because you wore a suit
You
to
too.
travel. It was just
You wore a suit to travel.
in 1994. The only way to go was a suit. You wore a suit to your visa counselor so
Yeah.
that you look presentable. You took the same look. So I
To
got
the
a
airport.
yeah. So I did the airport look before it even got famous. So I went to this. I remember walking in, and these guys come and say, "Hey, bro, what you want?" And I'm like, "My apartment." It's like, there's no apartment here. This is a studio, bro. I said, "What kind of music is this?" It's like, "This is hip hop." I said, "This is so cool." So I made friends with these guys, and it turns out that my street was like 3 miles away, so I had to fucking walk. So I walked with my suitcases. There were no wheels then back in those suitcases. I'm just telling
It's
you,
like carrying
the
this,
stuff that
walking
happened,
around.
the stuff that happened was whole next level. Anyways, get to LA, and then the journey of design starts. Yeah. You want to know more?
I mean, like you said, I feel like there are chapters to this.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's cut across a few years. You've studied design, you've come back. What is the defining moment at which you say, you know what, hey, I've studied design, but I want to do something that is mine, and I want to create a brand and put myself out there in a way that is obviously also a harder route in some ways.
I mean, I'll tell you, as an entrepreneur, it's hard anyways. Just the fact
that's
that
the
you
thing.
follow
You
your dream without any investment, and you already have to pour shitloads of money before you even make an outfit. You've got to find a place to sell your product. You got to go and find fabrics. You got to get tailors before you stitch something. You got to get pattern masters, a space, electricity bills. This is all before you even sell one outfit. So it's a hard one.
No, but I mean, I think that's still a point at
Later.
which you've come to a little later. That understanding, all of that has come over the years.
Yeah.
What was the landscape like? Why not join somebody?
Yeah. So I did all that. I mean, after graduating school, which is college, I went and I worked with St. John Knits. Before that, I was asked to be a swimwear designer at Nautica.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was dabbling. I was basically jumping from one job opportunity to another to keep increasing my pay. So I went for one interview. Then I went to BCBG. The Tad Zubririka called me. He was the founder, and he says, "You know what? I really like what you come from, the history of India, and I like you to create for us." But I also did understand that he wanted to set up an Indian buying space, so use me as a conduit to kind of use the Indian operations. And I said, no, I want to create, and I don't necessarily want to create teenage clothing. I want to be in more refined couture. So I got interviewed by St. John Knits and Mrs. Gray. She was an incredible mentor to have. She made me understand, just in the interview, she made me understand the value of lineage and heritage. And she had an all true American heritage. And a lot of people don't know about American heritage, because it just seems like they created everything out of selling product. But the American heritage was really about a lifestyle. And she was creating that lifestyle through her product. And I was directly under her. So it was a great opportunity. While Shantanu had just finished he just graduated and he went back to India to figure out what he wanted to do. But before he went back, he came to me from Ohio to LA, and we sat down and he made a business plan. He says, if we were to set up in India, and India can see a huge opportunity in menswear, what if we were to go back and do this? I said, listen, I'm happy to go back at some point because, the sacrifice that my parents had made was so heavy on my shoulders that I did want to go back and give back in a sense and be with them. So I created a crest design for Mrs. Gray. She doesn't know this, so probably on this podcast,
We'll make sure we send it to her.
she'll know how we made money. So I made a jacket. It was a sportswear jacket with a crest. This was for our cruise collection, and Shantanu was in India, and she loved the idea of a crest. So she goes, Nick, can we go create a sample? I said, we can try. She goes, do you know anyone who can do it? I said, yeah, I think I know someone. There's a guy called Shantanu in India. I can ask him to create it. She goes, yeah, can you hurry it up? So I called up Shantanu. I sent him a fax. That was the time fax machines were popular. And because I didn't want to make the call because it's still $1.20 a minute, I said, can I use your fax machine? She goes, yeah, for coordination, international calls, we have a separate operator. I said, hello, operator.
Hello, India.
So I called up Shantanu. I said, buddy, there's an opportunity. Can you get me a crest, mate? I'm sending you the design. And he sent me a crest in like 10 days. She saw the crest. It was handmade. They were like, kasab, dapka, the works, everything, zardozi, all the techniques. She loved it. She says, how much will it cost? So I said, it's very expensive. She goes, no, but like, give me a ballpark. So I said, about $250 a crest. She goes, okay, just tell him to make 500. I said,
Nice.
okay, we can try. We can try it. How long and how fast do you want it? She goes, we want it really quick. I said, let me find out what the rate is for quick deliveries. So I told Shantanu, what do we need? He says, we need $5,000 up front. I said, how about if I get you $10,000? He says, bro, then we're ready to go. So anyways, I told Mrs. Gray that we can do the order, but the advance is 75%. And that 25% happens about 5 days before the shipment goes, when we do the clearance paperwork and all. She goes, yeah, no problem. Just tell the accounts. Money went. Because we needed $10,000 to do, to create our range. And $10,000 back then was maybe 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs, but it was a lot of money back then.
For sure.
So then I was fingers crossed that I hope the India thing doesn't happen, that the crests come to America and the color starts changing. So I told him to get all the tests done. He paid the lab to do all the tests. Because Shantanu is an MBA, so he will obviously follow every possible, So I was really secure. The shipment happened. My resignation happened when the full payment went. She goes, Nick, why are you leaving? I said, I'm missing home. I can't do this. I've been away from home for 3 years. She goes, no, but I'll tell you what we'll do. And plus I'm not a citizen. I'm on a F1 visa. So she goes, no, we'll apply for your sponsorship. You stay back. I said, this is turning into a bit of a situation. So I said, let me think about it. And I went back, packed everything like a nice Indian, took my 2 suitcases, went to
Carried
the
them back down the
airport.
road.
During so I also had saved enough money. So I said bye to Mrs. Gray, and she says, you'll have to give us a 2-week notice. I said, no problem. So I did 2 weeks and came back to India. And I remember purchasing the, Bose speakers, those little,
Yeah,
they were really popular back
Yeah.
then. So I picked those up for $800. That was my first luxury purchase of my life. And with your own money, you feel really powerful.
Yeah.
And then you come to India and the electrician is like, oh, where the hell how do I attach this? I said, you know what, I can't be having these problems. I've got the best equipment and they don't know how to set it up. So when I look at this incredible studio, I feel very good.
Times have changed.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, so that's how it happened. Shantanu got the remittance and
You were like,
the next thing you know, we have a setup already in Shapurjat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to understand from you a little bit about how the education translates, right? I feel like one of the biggest conversations across the arts is also the applicability of the information that you've learned there in the Indian market. How did that work for you? Do you think that applies to design the same way? And what was your first takeaway from having come from LA and having worked in these like industries over there and coming back and being like, hey, I'm going to set up something in Sharpajat. My audience is...
So I back then, education, I'm very confused about education, to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of education. I'm a bigger fan of collaboration and communication. I think if in India, for example, if we set up a different subject of interpersonal skill development as the major, that is like 60% of your curriculum, I think we'll make heroes. But what happens is we get stuck. Like my history teacher, Mrs. Rama Singh, she used to teach us when Babur got married and Akbar did this. It doesn't make an iota of a difference in my life. But what would have been nice if she had taken us to the Humayun's tomb and said, this is what Humayun built and this is what was created and why the color palettes of ivory and terracotta. Why did terracotta come to India? None of that information. Who's interested in Mumtaz's lifestyle? I mean, how does it affect our life today, right? So it wasn't really relevant. Although I wanted to find beauty in history. So I went to the tombs and I went to the gorgeous Moorish design, like the Red Forts, the architectural. It's a marvel. But we never speak about the techniques with which buildings were built. We only talk about the people who built it. And so education, even in design, the difference is, like in India, they really taught us the yarn count, the construction. So I always remember the value of a cotton, which is a high twisted, a high yarn. 120s by 80s was considered as a beautiful yarn for cotton that absorbs very well. But then once polyester was introduced, the whole world completely changed. So we don't have updated information in education, unfortunately. The updates happen on iPhone, but not necessarily in education.
Colleges,
So I'm a bit disappointed, honestly, with the system.
And it was the same in the West. Like, you don't think that there's an element of experiential...
It's only an experiential element. That's what it is, which India lacked back then. I'm sure it's different now.
Sure.
But back then, I was taught how to... Sales and marketing was when you have to sell something to your classmates. And if they don't buy, you fail.
Interesting.
So then you create techniques to sell to them. And it's like, if you were my classmate, you know me inside out. What am I going to sell to you? To create a need within you, which is a deep, deep thought, which our system doesn't allow us to. I sold a car that I had bought for $1,800 or $1,200 for a Yugo. Yeah, it was called a Yugo. It was Czechoslovakian. I got it for $400 and I sold it for $1,800 or something. I don't remember. And I sold it at the parking lot. I took all my classmates down and I told them this is one of the 80 cars ever made. And I didn't tell them the reason why there were only 80 cars made was because
It was faulty.
it was faulty. So, it could actually be you go.
Oh
You
my
never come
God.
back. So, but one of them bought it, and I think his name was David. He bought it, and from there I upgraded to a Mitsubishi Eclipse. Yeah, life's been
Okay,
interesting.
but in terms of landscape, when you came back, what did the design landscape look like?
Oh, it's a great question. In 1998, when I came back, India had seen there was a lot of heritage in clothes. That time I remember Rohit Bal was popular, but Rohit Khosla was more popular at that time. Rohit Bal was working for Rohit Khosla. Rohit Khosla was really, really popular. He was the only breakthrough designer who was doing contemporary Indian, but most designers were doing Indian clothing, but very heavy Indian clothing. And their client list was only rich people, which meant that the client average age was 35.
Sure.
And when I studied, we were studying for the next generation,
Yeah.
which in India wasn't the case studies at all.
Yeah.
It was only for the current generation that could afford your clothes. So I came with the mindset of doing Western clothing,
Yeah.
but Western clothing was not accepted. I wanted to do a gown, but a one-piece long dress with volume was unheard of. Men still wore loose kurtas and straight pajamas, and such loose kurtas that a slim guy would look big.
Yeah.
And that was mainly because it is not because men did not want to look good. It's just that the idea of looking good was ceremonial. It wasn't an everyday affair. And that is so dangerous for an industry where you are being worn maybe once in 6 months. How do you become a valuable proposition if you're only going to be worn once in 6 months? And so, in order for us we had to break through that clutter of. So we were the anti, you can say, trend of the design industry, where while everything else was heavily burdened with embroideries, we were doing almost no embroideries, but more silhouettes. Because I studied pattern making, and for me the shapes were more important than the embroideries.
Yeah.
And also we felt that the embroideries really didn't come from my skill. It was an artist's skill. And if I'm supposed to be an artist, then I need to put my skill forward, which was more about the sartorial, the well cut, the drape.
Yeah.
And that also took me 8 years to discover. So it's not so easy, really. Like, you just get on,
Yeah.
you get educated, you start a business, you don't know nothing. You're still discovering. And then as time went, I would talk to editors after seeing my show, and they wouldn't say anything.
Nothing.
Nothing. They would be like, "Hi, Nikhil, how are you?" I'm like, "Good. Did you see my show?" Yeah, we saw your show.
And then
I'm like, "I'm not deaf. I can't. Am I? Did she say something, Shantanu?" She says, "No, she didn't say anything." So clearly, we didn't do a good job, right? Or it wasn't enough impact. At
all the
least
time
in the
was also different. Like
whatever
change
it
is
was,
also a
I
cultural
felt
thing.
really shitty about
Sure.
it, honestly. I mean, like, I thought of many things that, like, because I was magna cum laude in the States, 4.0 GPA, did really well,
Yeah.
won every scholarship, and come to India, which is a different monster altogether, which was more focused on the heritage side of it. And I was focusing on the contemporary side of it, which nobody really gave a shit about. It's like you're doing, okay, Hanuman Kind singing back in the 90s. Okay. People will think it's jarring.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But
it,
that's the thing. It's a cultural shift that
yeah.
also
So
had to happen.
I entered into a cultural shift purposefully because it got the family together, and I got to work with my brother, who I hated till college because we would fight over stuff.
As all brothers do.
But then I realized that Shantanu is the missing link to my idea.
Yeah.
If it's not executed, it's just an idea. You'll shit it out every morning. But he really kind of built it with me. But it was hard. The first 10 years were 12 years were very, very hard.
What are your thoughts on where the landscape is now? Also, I mean, given what you've said about tradition and culture, and also the idea that education, even though we accept that it may have changed to a certain degree, there are things that you've learned being on ground. In today's landscape, and that I leave for you to set out, would you say that it might be better to throw yourself all in, start actually working with people sooner, and that maybe education doesn't have the same merit when you're starting out? Or would you think that they go hand in hand?
I think the right education with so education is key. I don't disagree, but the kind of education is now also you have more opportunities. Like you don't have to do a 4-year course to be a designer. You can do smaller courses, but then you can do longer internships. And you could even do real quick participation in startups as a founder of sorts, but be specific with one skill as opposed to knowing everything, because that is also a long stay idea. Where is India going? What is the situation today? I think it's if COVID hadn't happened, we would still be quite boring. I think
Interesting.
COVID really shifted the axis of the human creativity. And you would have seen this, like how, clothing is becoming such a strong expression of self and the society. So back in the day, I remember, there was a grunge period. There was a punk period. There was a hip hop period. Now, I think it's very different now. There's not a period we're going through. Now we're going through not short spurts of design ideas, but a longer vision of design. So when you're seeing oversized clothes, what are we seeing in the future? You can kind of see it.
Yeah.
New age technology is allowing. I don't think it's not possible that someone could wear a certain kind of clothing and fly to another place at some point. So clothing is becoming the medium of beyond expression. It's going to become, there'll be societies, countries built on design, which wasn't really the case so much before COVID.
It's interesting that you're talking about the societal and personal influences. How much of that has shaped what SNN or Shantanu Nikhil does today? And how have you gone about designing the brand in a way that is actually true to who you are as a person?
Oh God, see, the thing is that everything that is happening outwardly is happening inwardly for us, right? So whatever you're seeing is all happening inside. My inside universe is displayed through brands like Shantanu Nikhil Couture. Then you have SNN and SNCC. So Shantanu Nikhil Couture is an I brand. It's about me. And SNCC is a we brand. It's about the community. So these are all expressions. And why did SNCC come about is because the kind of person I am, I love people, And then also I'm the kind of person who takes care of me. So I created a me brand with Shantanu. And that's the landscape we're building right now. And the beautiful part of this landscape is that when you go out seeking for a community through your design and people accept it, means there is a place for you in the world, which means you have a place for yourself in your heart. So it's kind of spiritual. Design is a bit spiritual.
Yeah. I mean,
For
art
me?
is a bit spiritual.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
spirituality is art.
Yeah. Wow. Territory that I was not expecting to cross into.
That's another 5 episodes. Sorry, guys.
No, but okay. Let's break it down a little bit. What do you think it takes to be able to create a brand in 2024?
You need balls. I mean, like big balls
Yeah.
of fire. And the thing is, like, you need consistent fire.
Yeah.
It's not something like you can come up. Those days are gone. I feel that you get lucky, like with one thing, and then you can extend it. Like back in the days, we could extend fame for a long period of time. But now I don't think it's the case at all. You could be famous like tomorrow.
Yeah.
We could be famous tomorrow very quickly, but people will forget. Well, what they're really trying to say is that they don't want to forget you. They just want you to be consistent.
Yeah.
And consistency comes with a great amount of the you need a brand code Bible.
Yeah.
What are your codes that you exist with? And if people resonate with those codes, that's how they will continue to be intertwined with your philosophy. So, firstly, running a business is like creating a template which slash a religious book of your thoughts that has codes like the commandments.
Yeah.
And it also has a story that you know is going to end at some point with you dying, but the brand living longer than you. A lot of entrepreneurs today focus on today, tomorrow, and day after, maybe, but they don't focus on the 100-year plan
Yeah.
that you require so that when you go, the brand still exists.
Yeah.
So when someone says that be fearless and be happy, that's a bit of a it's bullshit.
But I mean, I think this is something that I've always found interesting when I have had the opportunity to talk to you. How many collections does Shantanu Nikhil / SNN / SNCC do in a year?
Enough to give me this color of hair. See, okay, Shantanu Nikhil has 2 collections.
Yeah.
That's a couture brand, so I'm primarily focusing towards the wedding market. And as you know, in India, weddings really happen post Diwali. That's when all the celebrations happen because, how do you say, not technically, but mythologically, the period between around Diwali to the time when the weather changes at Holi, you can say.
March, yeah.
So that's really a very beautiful, auspicious time for all good things to happen. So then that's the major collection. By July, we showcase it at Fashion Week. Then SNN is a daily requirement. So every 44 days, we come up with a 60-piece collection. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
That's a lot of clothes.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yeah. But then you don't go into an SNN idea if you don't have guts, because
No, the reason I raised it was just from the understanding also of reinvention, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that you're bringing into this of saying that in order for you to stay relevant, it's not just about being able to create a singular product that can now serve for X amount of time, or that you can ride off the back of one.
Can't.
Yeah, but that's what. And the reason I wanted to ask that is because one collection every 44 days, obviously that is a massive volume
Yeah.
thing, and you can do that today because also you have built what you have built. But the fact that
Can I stop you here?
Yeah.
The reason why we can build it is because our design codes are very tight. Our Bible is very, very focused.
Yeah.
So even if I'm not around, the collections will be made.
Yeah.
We've built, Shantanu and I have been really focused on what does SNN stand for. It's celebration wear. It's and who are we catering to? What are the color codes that will consistently be around, and what are the variable codes that will come through? We don't lose sight of that. It's a scientific business.
Yeah.
And we come in and create based on our house code. So like we love military, we love sartorial, we love the drape. We love, we introduced fabrics which are so new age in the ethnic business that men finally they stood up and applauded us, saying that thank you for giving me something I don't have to iron. I don't have to worry about my weight because it has enough stretch. And the color and the weight of the fabric is heavy enough that it sits on the chest beautifully, so that you don't see the areas that you personally don't want to show. And I think those are the codes that we still will continue to work with.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, okay, we've addressed this.
Sorry,
idea.
I just cut through your question.
No, that's okay. I think, like we said, it's not that you haven't been able to do it because you have the systems in place. I fully hear you on that. But I'm saying I want to drive home the idea that you brought to the table of saying that even at the place that you are at today, there is a certain reinvention which can happen within a framework and you're
Sure.
able to drive it faster. But the fact that today's landscape is less forgiving of
Yeah.
being boring, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you notice, life is not boring anymore. See, back in the day,
Yeah.
life was pretty boring if you didn't have things to do. Today, if you don't have things to do, you still have things to do.
Yeah.
So
I
creativity
can
is,
testify to this.
we're doing nothing right now, but we still have things to do. No, but like, for example, back then there was Chitrahar at 6:30 on Fridays.
Yeah.
And you'd find your creativity in the kind of playlist they used to play.
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing they played. So we would sit down and we would judge it, right? Like they start with the romantic and they go into full action song right towards the end. And that playlist curation would propel you to have a song like that playing at your party. But now the abundance, like for example, just my mood, the algorithm already knows how I feel and it propels an idea through the sound I hear in the morning and then I can resonate and give, because my customers also want more.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're very happy with just whatever is happening. They want like, Nikhil, what are you coming up with? I need more, I need more. And then you're also then searching and then sometimes mostly it comes to you because you're in the field of awareness. So I feel now in today's day and age, entrepreneurs are far more aware that they were before.
Yeah.
They would take a chance and they would apply something and they'll wait for things to happen. Today, I think entrepreneurs already know what's going to happen. Smart entrepreneurs.
I will retract any statements that were being. Okay, but I also want to understand from you. You said Shantanu was the missing piece
Yeah.
in the journey that you set out on, right? But I think one of the very fundamental questions that creatives have at least come to me with, I know I've struggled with, I know a lot of younger designers and brands have also done this, is trying to understand, do I need to also be a good business person? Because very often you'll hear this thing of saying, hey, I'm creative, let me be creative, let me do what I need to do. And there's obviously both sides of the argument, right?
Yeah.
In today's day and age, do you think you would have been able to do it the same way if you didn't have a Shantanu equivalent to what you were creating? And do you think that's viable?
I personally feel that if you don't have a Shantanu in your business, you should just rather work for someone. There's no option. You need, creative people need someone to mentor them to stay close enough to the box that you don't become unachievable. And the box, again, is created by people who see your talent and they feel that this is how far we should stretch it. And that's why if you look at many designers in the world who were pure designers, they didn't survive beyond a certain time because somewhere the buying went wrong, somewhere the store placement went wrong. Something did happen from the technical side of business that went wrong. So creatively, the guy must have done everything correctly. But, you know, you take a shop location, you shift it to a place where you feel the market is, but you don't have enough research to back it up. And then you realize that, oh my God, my customer is not even coming close and you're paying heavy rents. And before you know it, you're in debt and the store is shut and then the business goes down. There have been a couple of guys in India also who've been through that. And I'll tell you, we had seen in India back in 2010, very creative, very, they're geniuses. I mean, I would, love to have spent more time with these guys, but they were struggling in their business. And to survive for 25 years requires a Shantanu.
Yeah.
You can't do it without it.
Do you look at yourself as a mix of both, or do you look at yourself as the creative force?
I'm the idea guy. So I can come up with 1,000 ideas, but I'm not an execution chap at all. Like, bro, execution
I think
is...
we need Shantanu on this podcast.
To me, execution means kill. That's how it is for me. Shantanu really puts it in perspective at every given point of time. Like I would, just yesterday when we were shooting with an actor, and I said, okay, so and everything is happening beautifully, right? Like he's doing what we require him to do. We want to show him in a new light. And then Shantanu was just telling me how he's planning to lay it out, which was so scientific and structured that, like creative people get excited, say, oh, we should do this, we should do that, we should throw him here, we should kill him here. I'm like, no, buddy, we need to do it in phases. I see it a month and a half long program, and this is at what point we feel that it's going to rise, and that's when we're going to drop the collection. So it's very scientific and also very emotional.
Yeah. So essentially, if somebody wants to do it, then the smarter way to do it instead
Partnership.
of conflicting two sides of your brain would be to find.
I'll give you a clear example. You'll make an outfit, you'll put a barcode. Ideally, you have to put a barcode. But what happens here, a lot of times people write a price with their pen.
Yeah.
That's against the law.
Yeah.
You have to have a barcode. You have to have the manufacturing date written and the place where it got manufactured. Most creative guys will say, no, let it be. We'll just write, it looks really nice. 4 lakh ka banana hai. 4 lakhs, dal do, 4 lakhs, dal do. You can't do that. There is a proper process to pricing. And it's super scientific.
Yeah.
But, designers feel, oh my God, that is beautiful. That's one of my best pieces. Happens to me all the time. Like, that's one of my best pieces. I don't want to sell it. Shantanu's like, buddy, calm down. You don't want to sell it? Let's look at how many pieces we want to sell.
Yeah.
And how many can we sell at what price?
Yeah.
And then there is a machine that is behind getting that number in place that is correct for the consumer to pay. It's correct for the business to get. It's not about overpricing. It's the right pricing.
Yeah. Can you break that down a little bit?
What do you mean?
In terms of, okay, let's say someone is starting a brand today. How do you actually go about trying to understand pricing?
House codes. Okay, so firstly, PCMRP is very important. The product cost before market retail price, right? PCMRP is
Product
key.
cost before market retail price. Yes.
So PCMRP will decide, let's say you're selling it at 100 rupees. What percentage should be the cost of that garment?
Okay.
Now, internationally, it's 4.5 times.
Okay.
So percentage is like 12 to 14 in luxury. In ready to wear, it's about 35 or maybe 28 to 35%.
Okay.
35% is not a healthy business.
Okay.
Because the business also goes through cycles, right?
Yeah.
So the cost today will be different if I sold it, a part of it, on sale.
Sure.
Because then the cost
Yeah.
increases, the profits reduce. So PCMRP is the key. If you make something for 50 rupees and sell it for 100 rupees, you're going to be out of business at some point. And this information could be a game changer for a lot of young entrepreneurs because they may feel like I'll make something for 50 and I'll sell it for 100. 50 taka to mere ko mila hai. 100 taka I doubled my money.
Yeah.
That's bad business.
Interesting.
So, because you don't look at the length of the business you're in.
Yeah.
You have to look at all cycles, all seasons.
Yeah.
Debt stock. What about debt stock? No one talks about debt stock. You come back to your showroom or your atelier and you'll have 100 pieces one season. The third season, you have 500 pieces, which is dead stock.
Yeah.
How are you going to replenish it? Where are you going to get the money that you could have gotten if you sold 500 pieces? Now they're still there.
Yeah.
Where's that money?
What do you do with that stock?
Well, you do sales.
Sure.
You'll do 4-hour sales. You'll do a day sale. Where
Yeah.
you'll make it lucrative. You'll do a markdown, which is unbelievable, but only for a certain amount of time. And then there is math behind that also.
Yeah.
That you do not go on sale whenever you feel like. It's a very...
Thought out process.
It is.
Yeah.
But like creative people don't realize these things. And it's no fault of ours.
Yeah.
We are just not in that world of understanding that 1 + 1 is equal to 2. For us, it's 22 or 11, whatever.
11.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Okay, interesting. I feel like while we have addressed the business side of it, coming back to the creative aspect for a minute, what do you think are 3 things or 5 things, it's up to you,
Oh,
that
wow.
you think are essential to being a designer in. I feel like I want to say 2025 every time this
No,
starts because we're
it's the
almost
same.
there.
You have to have an opinion, a very strong opinion. Okay, that's one thing. It has to be so strong that people recognize it.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about having fun. No, you can't have fun. You have to have a plan so big that it scares you. Yeah.
Okay. Can you say that again?
You have to have a plan so big that it scares you. Because a lot of our success is based on our limitation,
Yeah.
is how you perceive yourself. Like this podcast should be played across the world on Apple.
That's the.
That's the hope where people live with, right? And hope is little dangerous. I think belief is far more important. So belief is one of the strongest house codes you can have. Because what happens in a creative person's journey, everyone's going to put you down at some point. They're going to say, oh, you know what, I really liked the guy, but the collection was not nice. That will happen. Then, the guy's got an attitude problem. So you're constantly going to be judged. And then a lot of times, what is this guy doing here? He doesn't belong here. So what's going to get you through all this is your belief that you actually, it could be a fake belief, but it has to be so true to yourself, so true and so you got to believe it so hard that actually the world believes you.
Yeah.
And so these three things, at least you start with, you'll look really strange to the world. But I feel Donald Trump is a great example. Mr. Modi is a great example. He believes in transforming India. Donald Trump believed in making America great again. And like whatever now he's doing or he has done in the past, he stood by those code words. So I think to start with, try these three.
Okay. Having delved deeply into the business acumen of things, can you walk us through a little bit of what your creative process looks like?
So I'm a people's person. So for a lot of the input that I get is from people. And somehow whenever I'm traveling, and a lot of times just before I go to bed, there's a thin moment where an idea just comes and you have to hold on to a passionate idea. A lot of ideas will happen, right? There are like lots of doors being open all day. But there will be one of those moments where it could be just a shape that you had met someone through the day or you had gone to a place and that comes to your head just before you're going to go to bed. Just that one moment. I try to look forward to those because that really is the true form of your heart telling you something. So it's a connection between your heart and your mind. And because I have a visual mind, my heart instantly gets connected. And then if there is a tune to it, I'll go listen to it the next day at work and then things will start flowing. But one thing I always do is if I get this moment, I don't let it go till I fail or I succeed.
Yeah.
But I'll go with it and I'll believe in it. The last one was the show we did at the Piano Man. It came from a design of a motif. But then I felt the 70s in it. Like just the shape of the motif just took me to the 70s and I started listening to that music and then I remember we had conversations around it and you came into the show with bringing dance and you choreographed Siddharth Malhotra also, which was
I
hilarious.
was really thrown into the mix.
Yeah, it was called the Studio
Yes.
Mix. Yes.
My wordplay is non.
You were thrown into the mix, yes. And it turned out to be quite a fascinating show because it was us just having fun. Like Shantanu and I wanted to do something fun. And the era that reminded us of that was the 70s. And that all happened from the shape, the motive of a paisley.
Yeah.
And that's how it happens.
Interesting.
People also.
Yeah.
People inspire me. I did a collection called Nomad, which was I was in a space that time, in a emotional space where I was getting a lot of input from the person of this kind of breakthrough, street style. So I resonated with that, and then the collection came through. So I think it's got a lot to do with my life.
Okay, but when you have to do one collection every 44 days, theoretically,
Yeah.
I'm really just enjoying that
Yeah, yeah,
number
yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Do you still find it in you to constantly find those influences that inspire that? And how do you stop it from then becoming a point where you have a deadline, it's on your head, you've
Yeah.
started this curve, but you're not.
Why are you in this world is a bigger question to ask. Okay? It's very, very important to know why you exist. Because everything that, you're saying or you're asking me has got to do with something that I have to figure out. You don't figure it out. Collections just happen. Things keep happening. And then you realize that this is what you're meant to do. And the moment you start focusing on like, fuck, how do I do it? And why is it not happening? And I have a creative block, then it's when it just goes downhill.
So you don't have creative blocks?
I don't know of them. I could be going through. I struggle emotionally, if that's what your question is. So creative block for me is an emotional struggle, where I would listen to a song and I'll start crying, or I'll call up my best friend and say, I'm feeling like shit today. Bring me up, help me out. Or I'll go through a relationship which is like heartbreaking. So for me, those are blocks, and they don't allow me to create. But I don't think that I look at a creative block in terms of work. I look at a block in my life.
Which is then impacting and spiraling
Yeah.
on every aspect,
Every aspect.
facet. Okay. That's actually really interesting. I feel like a lot of times we look for emotion to solve the creative block. And we think that by meeting people, by doing
Yeah.
something, it'll change. But what you're talking about is so much deeper, because it's if I'm not in an emotionally,
Yeah.
in a state of equilibrium emotionally, then blocks will keep
Yeah.
happening in their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, nobody is in equilibrium. How do you say?
Equilibrium.
My enunciation is poor. Nobody's in balance.
Yes.
Even nature is not.
Yeah.
Like left leg, right leg, no. Fingers, no.
Yeah.
Forearms, no.
Yeah.
So what kind of balance are we really looking at?
Yeah.
There is no balance. But that's beautiful, isn't it? Isn't
It is.
chaos the most creative process? And so, yeah, I go through creative blocks. Emotionally, I go through emotional blocks, which there does not allow me to create. But that's life.
But so your way of addressing it would be first to just be like, okay,
Meditation.
where am I at?
Yeah, like,
where am I at?
I found myself in so many different avatars
Yeah.
because I'm looking for myself.
Yeah.
And when I look for myself, I'm learning new techniques, new things, new sounds, new people. Like Korean cinema. Like, fuck.
You discovered Korean cinema.
I mean, I discovered it, but like, what impact does discovery make?
Yeah.
Is you don't know what kind of impact discovery makes,
Yeah.
right? Like, I discovered at this studio the Atmos
Yeah.
thing, which I discovered like back in the cinema hall.
Sure.
But what is a studio with the surround sound come in like 12 by 15 feet room?
Yeah.
It's a whole different experience,
Yeah.
right? And that's
Yeah.
probably what the creators were doing, where they were trying to give you an experience in a small box
Yeah.
and then make the box bigger.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay, interesting. Having talked a little bit about discovery in a very different parallel,
it's not.
I do want to understand from you, and I feel like this conversation would be a little incomplete if we didn't address the elephant in the room and talk a little bit about our favorite channels of distribution and content. And what that means to be a designer, again, obviously in the context of this interview in here and now, but how do you think technology, marketing, distribution, Instagram have changed accessibility and commercial viability for designers?
Before technology was telepathy.
What do you
Think
mean?
about it. Before technology was
Yeah.
telepathy. Like when your mom went out
Yeah.
and you wanted her to come back, she
Yeah.
came back like sooner than you thought, and she was there. When you wanted to make a call to a friend,
And they call.
and they called,
Yeah.
right? So telepathy was like really at the top of technology for the human mind. Then
Yeah.
technology came, the human mind became lazy,
Wow. Okay.
right? So if you look at the internet, is what you want is already there.
Yeah.
So you don't have to discover everything.
Yeah.
Technology is powerful when it comes to helping now AI helping patients diagnose their illnesses quickly.
Yeah.
So they don't have to go through hundreds of tests
Yeah.
and pay thousands of rupees before they're told that it's too late.
Yeah.
So technology has to be looked at from what do you seek and you attract it.
Okay.
It's as wide as technology is,
Yeah.
it's also a small little cube.
Yeah.
And if you just need something from that cube, you just go to it and get it, which we were doing beforehand too.
But how are you using it now? I mean, I think the question really remains, right? Like from an audience perspective, yes,
Yeah.
I hear you.
How are you using it? So professionally, personally?
Professionally.
So again, it's very simple. That's why I go back to the fact that you need house codes. If you don't have house codes, you'll cater to everyone and everything. And then you'll end up doing everything.
Yeah.
Like you'll do events at an art gallery, you'll do events, at an old fort. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to do everything. You don't have to be everywhere. So your house codes will determine how you use technology and what it does for you. So let's say, for example, for SNN has a pretty big community online.
Yeah.
And what do we really give to them becomes really the house code that we belong to. It's contemporary India at your doorstep. And how
love that,
often does
yeah.
contemporary India even sound or look contemporary?
Yeah.
It's like saying it's designer wear, but it really isn't designer wear. You'll
Yeah.
hear it like
Yeah.
designer homes.
Yeah.
Buy designer homes, right? For 32 lakhs.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. For sure.
So similarly, I think it's technology will help you penetrate into a deeper market. But if you're not sure of the market you want to penetrate into, you'll realize that it's just an abyss and an illusion more than anything else.
Okay. I think
Does that
we-
answer your question though?
I think in a different way, and I'm here for it because I think that in a lot of these conversations that we have had, obviously there is a more practical answer to it in the sense
Shantanu
of
will give you the practical answer.
yeah, no, but I'm saying not even from that perspective. I think the idea of really being able to nuance what you're trying to deliver is still an important one. Whatever marketing
House
principle,
codes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever principle I apply to any technology that comes in and it goes beyond just marketing or just distribution or just even creation for that matter, right? But if you're able to really narrow down and focus that, then I think that's essentially your guiding principle.
Yeah.
And so,
That's technology for you?
yeah. But I think that is pretty much everything.
Oh, is it?
But
I thought we were going to last 5 more episodes. No.
I'll bring you back. But I
I
do
look
want to
forward to it.
ask you, just before we sign off, if you could go back to yourself 10 years ago, what would you say to yourself? And then 5 years ago.
Oh, wow. 10 years ago. I 10 years ago, I would have been better planned. No, gosh, 10 years ago, I don't even remember what I was doing 10 years ago. I would have told myself, don't try to put a date 10 years ago. Don't try to put a date when you want to be a millionaire or a billionaire and call it a day. I don't think that you want to give yourself. You lose the beauty in the process if you put a target to your skill.
Yeah.
I would have told myself that 10 years ago that there's no hurry to make money. It's not the money that'll bring you happiness. It's the process that'll make you really stand tall.
Yeah.
And 5 years ago, I think I would have I would have told myself not to take the COVID vaccination if I'd known it's coming.
I feel like
Yeah.
we're gonna have a war in our comments at this point, but sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have any last words for young designers who are starting their careers out today?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
I do have.
Many words.
Yeah. No, one of them is that I will compete with you at any given point in time.
Damn. Okay.
So bring your A game on.
I love it. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but thank you so much for doing this. It has been an absolute pleasure, as always.
Thank you for having me. Shantanu missed it. Sorry, guys.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks, guys. If you enjoyed this conversation, like, share, and subscribe to help us bring you more unfiltered creative stories. Got someone in mind for our next guest? Drop your suggestions in the comments and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode.